Welcome back to John's Tarot. I'm John, and today we're diving into one of the most profound journeys a human being can take, the stages of individuation. I just figured that it's easier to understand if I lay out the stages. If you're going through these things, it's a little program, what you can expect, what's going on. I talked last week about some of the signs of your being an individuation. Today I'm going to lay out the exact stages, because individuation isn't self-improvement. It's not being your best self. It's a lifelong process of becoming who you truly are beneath the conditioning, trauma, family scripts, cultural expectations, and all the masks we've learned to wear just to survive. This episode is for the seekers, for those who feel called inward, for those whose life, through crisis, sobriety, spiritual awakening, or simple inner pressure, has begun pushing them towards their deeper self. And as always, this podcast is not therapy, not medical advice. This is psychological, spiritual education grounded in Jungian thought, real lived experience, and the symbolic lens of the tarot. So what is individuation? Carl Jung believed that each of us carries within us a blueprint, a deeper organizing principle called the self, the totality of who we are meant to become. Individuation is the process by which the conscious ego aligns with that deeper self. It unfolds through a series of recognizable stages: the call, the descent into the shadow, encounter with the inner guide or inner wisdom, the confrontation with the self, transformation, the return to the world, integrated. These stages are not linear. They cycle, they overlap. Some people move through them gently. Others are dragged through them by crisis, trauma, recovery, or synchronicity. I feel more like I was dragged through it by crisis and synchronicity. So I'm doing this so you don't have to be dragged through it. It's mapped out by Carl Jung, and there are specific steps that we go through in order to achieve this synchronicity. Not synchronicity, but individuation. Not everyone achieves individuation because many people don't do the things that are necessary. Probably the biggest obstacle would be looking at and working with the shadow. But let me go through with this. Stage 1, the call. Everything begins with a disturbance. Something in ordinary life stops working. A marriage collapses. Addiction becomes unbearable. A career suddenly feels empty. Or sometimes it's as subtle as a dream, a symbol, or a feeling that says, there is something more. To step into the unknown, a leap that makes no rational sense, but feels spiritually necessary. This is the moment the self taps on the shoulder and says, wake up. Whether gentle or catastrophic, the call reaches the first crack in the ego's certainty. It's the moment the journey begins. I remember when I was answering the call, I knew there was something more, something different about my life, something more I could be, something more that I could achieve, that there was somebody inside me different and was trying to get out. Only my problems with addiction and alcoholism were keeping that desire squashed down. And that was causing me a great deal of, we'll call it psychic pain. And I didn't understand it at the time. I was going through this blind. Stage 2, the shadow. After the call comes the descent. This is the meeting with the shadow. All the rejected, denied, unlived parts of the personality. The things we don't want to admit about ourselves. Anger, fear, shame, pride, wounds, addictions, defenses. Here we meet the patterns that sabotaged our lives. Oh, I had a lot of patterns that were I was doing a lot of self-sabotage. Hold on, the sabotage. I had a lot of self-sabotaging patterns. The trauma we buried. I had a lot of trauma that I didn't want to deal with. The emotions we avoided. The persona we've hidden behind. These things are unclear. The past rises distorted and dreamlike, confusion, fear, projection. Shadow work is not optional in individuation. It is the crucible where authenticity is born. This is also the stage where my own sobriety came with a profound awakening, where the clarity of recovery created enough ego stability for deep psychological work to begin. As Jung warned, this phase must be approached with care, support, and groundedness. Early or unstable recovery is not the time for heavy shadow confrontation. Safety first, stability first. But once the foundation is set, shadow work becomes transformative. And in my early sobriety, I was big on projection. And I was projecting. People would make me mad. And I realized that my anger, that I would treat powerful emotions with drinking or using. And I would get angry at people I didn't think they were doing the right thing. But that was a projection of my shadow. And I had the support of the program and of a sponsor and people and friends that supported me through that period of time. Stage 3, the call to inner wisdom. At some point, when the individual has faced enough of their own darkness, something unexpected emerges. A voice, a symbol, a mentor, a synchronicity that shifts everything. This is the arrival of the inner guide, also known as the wise old man or woman, the sage, the inner Sophia, the higher self, the anima and animus, or simply inner knowing. Here we begin to sense purpose. We recognize patterns. Our dreams become instructive. Synchronicity increases. The world seems to guide us. This is the moment the individual feels, I'm not alone in this. In Jungian language, this is the psyche reorganizing itself around a deeper principle. In a spiritual language, this is awakening. Stage 4, the confrontation with the self. For my inner, I'm going to go back a little bit on stage 3. I had a synchronistic event where I was given the I Ching as a guide. And this helped me develop that inner guide of higher knowledge. It gave me an inner compass. I didn't have a good inner compass. And like I said, I had a lot of wrong ideas. And the I Ching was a guide for me. And after I used it for a while, it became an inner guide. So I understood, I had a concept, what was right, what was wrong, what was the best thing for me to do, even if it was uncomfortable. And that was a great help to me in developing that inner self. So the confrontation with the self, now we reach the heart of the journey. This is where ego meets self, the organizing center of the psyche. This often involves profound symbolic dreams, powerful emotions, or dramatic life changes. People describe feeling they are seeing reality more clearly, a sense of inner guidance, powerful moments of truth, a breakdown of old identity. I had that. I definitely changed. A growing sense of unity with the psyche. This is not ego inflation. I am special. That's the ego inflation. Oh, I am special. It's ego surrender. I am part of something larger within me. The self is not the ego's accomplishment. It's the ego's teacher. Here, a person may undergo deep healing, reconciliation of opposites, and the beginning of true psychological freedom. Stage 5, transformation. After encountering the self, something begins to shift. Old patterns lose power. People-pleasing fades. Boundaries strengthen. Addictions no longer define identity. I mean, although I still have alcoholism. I know many people in the program that is their identity. I'm a sober alcoholic. But that doesn't define my identity anymore. It's a part of me, but it's not everything about me. Creativity returns, like I'm doing with this podcast. Purpose becomes clear. Again, I'm going to refer back to what I'm doing with the podcast. This is the alchemical moment. The psyche reconstitutes itself around authenticity. It doesn't mean life becomes perfect, far from it, but the individual is now living from the inside outward, not the other way around. Stage 6, the return. All true journeys end where they begin, but the traveler is no longer the same. The return is the stage where the individual brings new understanding back into their community, their relationships, their work, their creativity. This is where wisdom becomes action, compassion replaces judgment, clarity replaces confusion, purpose replaces wandering, service replaces ego ambition. We integrate, we live our truth, we contribute. This is where sobriety becomes service, insight becomes craft, healing becomes helping. The return is not retirement from the world. It is participation with consciousness. In closing, individuation is a lifelong spiral. You enter these stages again and again, each time at a deeper level. If you're listening and thinking, I've been going through this, you probably have been. If you feel lost, remember, confusion is a stage, darkness is a stage, awakening is a stage, transformation is a stage. The self is trying to emerge, and the very fact that you're asking the questions means that you're already on the path. Thank you for joining me today on John's Tarot. If this resonated, share it with someone who may be awakening too. And stay tuned. Our next episodes will dive deeper into the archetypes that guide us on this path. I'm going to do a little tarot reading and tag it on to the end of this. This week on my video podcast, I really want to encourage you to watch that because that is about sobriety as a spiritual awakening. And I have a really great video I've been working on this week, and I'm going to present it. And I hope you enjoy that too. That'll be up on Friday. So let's do a little tarot reading and see what the tarot has to say. What kind of question can I ask? On this path of individuation, especially the early stages, what might we expect? What I kind of like doing the Tuesday podcast is I can do it very informally and just kind of, although I had an outline of what I wanted to say, it's an informal time for me to be informal. So I got the tarot cards out, and I'm going to throw a couple of cards, just 3 cards, and ask the tarot, because the tarot has been very helpful on this path of individuation. What can we expect on this path? Especially in the early stages. And most people are going through this. I think not everybody accomplishes it. Not everybody goes through it all the way. But if you find yourself awakening, you've had this potential and it's starting to manifest. And I'm here to be a bit of a guide. If you have a therapist, that's even a better guide. This is just for education purposes. But I just want to let you know, it's not that unusual. And I'm doing this because I was going through it, and what is happening to me? I was bewildered. So what do people need to understand about individuation and the stages of individuation? How's that? What do people need to understand about the stages of individuation? I'm just going to throw 3 cards, and I'll throw some runes and see what the cards have to say if I quit dropping them all over myself. Okay. What do people need to know about the stages of individuation? Okay, cut the deck. My first card is the 3 of Wands. My second card is the Queen of Wands. And my third card, just 3 cards, is the Justice card. Why don't I throw some runes on that too? Odin, Freya, please help guide this reading. What do people need to know about the stages of individuation? The 3 of Wands. And that one is, I believe that one's called Uraz. And for the Queen of Wands, Helgaz. It is disruptive. And the Justice, and for Justice, because I also read Nordic runes, so I might as well keep doing that so I don't lose the ability. Itza. So on the stage of individuation, what do people need to know about the stages is you're going to need the 3 of Wands. You're going to need support. You're going to need the support of your family, some people support around you, people who love you, care about you, and are willing to support you. Not everybody's going to be supportive of this, but you will find some support. People like me are out there, and I was lucky I had people in the program to support me. And if you have a therapist, that'll be helpful. And you need to find some support. Maybe you find support in the church. You'll find a sympathetic ear, a clergyman. That would be a good person to talk to this about. And the rune Uraz, it has to do with the ancient Auroch, its work. It's not an easy process. And that's why not everybody successfully negotiates it. So you're going to need support, and it's hard work. The Queen of Wands, this is somebody who gets things accomplished. She is a successful individual, and she uses occult. She's into occult, which means hidden resources. So if you're on this path, you're going to kind of stand out in groups and people. Well, groups of people, you're going to stand out. You're going to be a little bit different. And the success, your concept of success may not be everybody else's concept of success, because you are going to be an individual. You're answering your own call. Everybody else may be focused on education and success in business and that type of traditional success. Your idea of success might be entirely different. And the rune is Helgaz. Helgaz has to do with hailstorms. So you're gonna set your own path. What is your idea of success? What is it you want to achieve with your life? What's important to you? And that will cause a little disruption in your life. But don't worry, these periods of Helgaz, these periods of a hailstorm, just like a hailstorm, they're only temporary, and they pass quickly. And then people go on with their business, and you go on with your business. And then the final card is Justice, with Isa underneath it. So Justice is the card of karma, and they have the sword of truth and the two scales of justice, and the sword of truth cuts through the BS. The BS that you've told yourself, that you believe about yourself, that other people tell you about yourself. And this is what you're going to experience as you go through this process of individuation, and you'll become more balanced. But as you go through this, the rune Isa, be careful, go slowly, and what can I say? I've always had my little runes and stuff to guide me. Just go careful, just like as if you're walking on ice. You don't want to fall through the ice. You walk carefully. As you go through this process, don't be in a hurry. Let it happen naturally in its own period, but don't give up either. Just cautiously move forward. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up for today. Let me see what we got here.
Goodbye, Professor Marvel, and thanks a lot.
Well, that was my pleasure. Join me on Friday as I do my video on again on individuation and recovery as a spiritual awakening.
Oh, far out, man.
Oh, well,
I like the soundtracks. It's a lot of fun. And I will see you then. Be careful, be cool, be kind. And remember, find strength, have courage, have faith. It'll be all right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.